Hey, Catalyst crew. Welcome to Catalyst Corner, episode 111.
Whoa.
111. I'm Evan.
I'm Jim.
And we've got some topics today. We're going to talk about some media. Jim's got a little curveball he's going to throw at me. And then we're going to talk about algorithms and sort of how they affect what you see. And we'll go into that a little bit later. How you doing, Jim?
Let me tell you what happened.
Oh,
let me tell
man.
you what happened.
Let me strap in.
Yeah. So the Saturday after the last time we got together,
Yeah.
I'm with my partner. I'm coming from the comic book store,
Okay, as you do.
as you do. The car starts bucking,
Uh-oh.
smoking.
Uh-oh.
Won't go. There was
Is this in the parking lot or on the street?
out on the road.
Oh,
out on the road.
no. You hate that.
You hate that. So I pull into a to an oil change place. I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened. Is there any way you can just take a look, see if anything's leaking? They're like, yeah. They take a look. No. They're like, but there's nothing we can do. I'm like, no, I understand that. They're like, hey, there's a garage up the road that is open on a Saturday that takes walk-ins. Maybe they can help you out.
All right.
So I say, cool, it's not that far away. The car hopefully can make it. It does. They're like, yeah, we, can take a look at it. Here's what it is, A couple hours later, I'm out $1,000.
Naturally.
But the car gets repaired. Just, the brake caliper went.
That caused it to smoke like that, though?
Yeah, so it rubbed against, so it's frozen, right? Rubs against the wheel.
Right.
And then starts bucking, smoking. And because the wheel's not going, the acceleration's not happening.
A brake caliper is $1,000?
Yeah.
I fucking don't know anything.
No. So I got some brakes with it right while you were in there.
Yeah.
Do a few. But, So that was a fun adventure, right? As I'm out on the road, I just wanted to pick up fucking comic books.
Not allowed, dude.
And this is what I got to deal with.
Not allowed.
So anyway, other than that, I'm hanging in there.
So let me tell you what happened to me, then. Because I got one, too.
Oh, here we go.
So we had WickedCon a couple of weekends ago.
Yeah.
So we went and set up on Friday night, right? We, any cons that let us go a day early,
Sure, right.
We appreciate that. It makes life a lot easier. So, my partner really likes this restaurant in Boston. Okay. So I told, my business partner, David, who you guys, I mentioned him, that, look, we got to stop. We got to go over to Chinatown. I got to go pick up some food, win some points.
Sure.
So we find a parking spot, which is rare.
Yeah, that's rare. Yeah.
But we found one, and he goes, all right, I'm going to stay in the car just in case it's not a parking spot. Like, maybe it's too good to be true, and if they want me to move, I'd rather move than get the ticket. And I was like, okay, I get it. So I walk up the street. It's a couple blocks because, whatever. Get the food. Walk back to the car, right? He's not in the car.
Uh-oh.
It's like, okay.
The car is there.
The car is there. He's just not in it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what the fuck happened to him? So then I get a text message, and he's like, I really wanted a boba tea. I'm at the boba tea shop up the street. And I was like, all right, motherfucker, you couldn't walk with me to the fucking restaurant, but you need to get your boba tea. But whatever, no big deal, right? So the car's locked. Obviously, I don't have the keys.
Right.
So I just lean up against a building. I'm on my phone, minding my own business. This homeless woman starts walking by people, and she's like saying shit to them. And, for those of you that don't live in a big city or Boston or anything like that, generally you just ignore it.
Right.
Right? And they move on or whatever. So I'm on my phone. And then all of a sudden, this little old homeless lady I'm looking down, and I can just kind of see she's in like a raincoat. It's the whole fucking thing. And so I slowly look up at her. Like, it's cartoony now that I'm playing it over. I slowly kind of look up at her, and she goes, I can't wait to commit suicide. And then she takes like 3 steps, and it jarred me enough. I couldn't stop myself from not responding.
Right.
So I just said to her, I was like, oh, you should probably go to the hospital. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, look, lady, I can barely keep my shit together.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine what your life is like. I am not equipped to begin to unpack. I can't wait to commit suicide. So I said, you should probably go.
What do you do with that?
Right. Normally, I'd just ignore it, but she was so close, and it just caught me so off guard. And so I said, you should probably go to the hospital. And she was already like 2 steps moving on to say it to the next person. Ugh. And she stops dead, turns around slowly and goes, what? And I was like, okay, mugging part 2, here we go. But again, I'm in it now. I've committed. I've committed at this point. I'm like, you should probably go to the hospital. They can probably help you. And she goes, why would I want to do something like that? And again, I'm in it, right?
Yeah.
And I go, I don't know, dying probably sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just giving her
a good answer.
I'm
good
just
answer.
giving her, again, very, very, like, logical, like, you know, oh, you want to commit suicide? Go to the hospital. They got people there that are trained.
Yeah.
Like, I draw fucking pictures for a living. You want me to draw you? Like, will that fix it?
Yeah.
Like, because if it will, I'll bust out the fucking sketch pad.
Yeah, if you want to tell me how you want to commit suicide, I will draw you a picture of that so you have it.
So you can see it, and then, you know, maybe that'll...
Yeah, you think against it.
Right, maybe that'll come, you know, maybe the demon will leave your body at that point. That's all I can do for you. But if you want real medical help, like...
Yeah, anything beyond that.
Anything beyond a fucking smiley face picture, like, you know, I can't help you.
Right.
So I said, dying probably sucks, you know? No religion, no Jesus loves you, any of that shit. Just like, hey, I imagine like dying is not a pleasant experience, right?
Yeah.
And she's still there, and she goes, it probably does suck. Fucking asshole. And then she moves on, and I was just like, why am I? It like shook me, because I was like, wait, why am I the asshole?
Right. Yeah, you weren't in, you didn't agree with her plan.
Like, you say to me, I want to end it. I said, okay, you should probably go to the hospital where there's trained professionals that can maybe help you get through the worst of it. You ask me why you should do that. I tell you, I think dying is probably an unpleasant experience, as most people, I think, would agree. At least the act of dying is probably not a fun fucking jaunt.
Yeah.
And I'm the fucking asshole?
Yeah. You got involved. That's why you are an asshole.
It's my fault.
Because you got involved.
Right. But it's just like, you know, again, I was empathetic enough to answer you. Everyone else is treating you like you don't even exist. I'm giving you the, like...
Everybody else was treating you like you already had committed suicide.
Right. I'm the only one that can see the ghost.
Right.
And I'm just like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, maybe think twice about doing that.
And I'm the fucking asshole?
Yeah.
Right. Fuck me.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So that happened.
Perfect.
2 seconds later, the fucking asshole unlocks the car. He's like, oh, the car unlocks from where I'm at.
Oh.
I was like, bro, you could have saved me a whole fucking interaction.
Oh, brutal. That is brutal.
Funny as fuck, though.
Yeah, most definitely is.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, hey, if you're thinking about committing suicide, don't go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Dying probably sucks.
Probably does suck.
If I'm a fucking asshole for telling you that, I guess,
be it.
You know, I'll own it.
Yeah.
I'll own it. I'm a fucking asshole anyway, so, you know, it's just one more thing to add to the tally.
That's all.
Yeah, so that's what happened to me.
Yeah, nice.
Great show at Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked was awesome. You know, they figured it. I think they got it figured out now. Like, last year wasn't as packed, and like it was only one day, but what a great fucking day. We met a ton of people.
Yep.
A lot of people were digging the art and everything. You know, it's always nice to see the stuff move. It helps us do more of what we're doing. Great. Really, really great. So
great. Come out to the cons. Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up for all that. Have you seen anything?
So I saw one thing.
Okay.
I saw the new Wolfman movie. Have you seen this?
I have seen that.
So,
give me your thoughts, and then we'll talk about it.
So first of all, the girl who's going to be playing the Silver Surfer couldn't have been worse in this movie. I thought she was cardboard. She couldn't emote.
Yeah, I can't decide if she's a good actor or not.
I've never seen her.
She's in Euphoria.
Yeah. See, I've never seen her in anything else, right?
Yeah.
So this does not leave a good taste in my mouth as far as her acting chops go, because she
Well,
was awful in this.
So we'll talk about it, but I didn't buy her as a mother. I
No.
think that was kind of like and again, I don't know if that's just me, as I'm getting older, younger people just look younger. That's just how it works,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But I just didn't buy her as a biological mother to
Yeah.
this child.
Yeah, that was very
Plus
difficult.
the husband was like 15 or 20 years older than her too, so I
Mm-hmm. Right.
was just like, this
Yeah.
isn't making sense to me.
Right. And, so I'm like, okay, the acting's not going to be good.
Right, but again, it's a horror movie,
Right.
so you put okay, you don't have to be the greatest actor.
Yeah. And it's, again, it's supposed to be a remake of the Universal, Wolfman movie, even though it's really, not.
It's like
quote unquote
modernized,
yeah,
I guess.
Exactly. And then they make a comment in there where, whatever, they say, oh, face of a wolf, right? I'm like, okay, I didn't understand it at first, right? Just like, okay, yeah, you're a werewolf. But then, that's it. His face kind of changed and nothing else.
So here's my opinion on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the coolest thing that they did in that whole movie was sort of the perspective shifting. Like
Yeah.
when he was turning, right? Like she's talking to him, and then it'll shift the perspective, and we see what he's seeing, and none
Yeah.
of it's getting through to him
Right.
and stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, this. If this was a good movie, that would have been an awesome,
Right.
part tying it all together. I thought the rest of the movie was a fucking hot Taco Bell diarrhea
it was
fueled dumpster
awful.
fire.
Awful.
They didn't look like wolves. They looked like the fucking wrong turn motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible.
But what really troubled me about the whole thing is, you turn into a werewolf. Supposedly that's what he was, right?
Sure.
You didn't have any extra strength, right? So you get stuck in the bear trap, and you can't just
Well, he could bit
undo-
his fucking leg off.
Right, you can bite your leg off, but you don't have enough. You don't have that added strength to actually open up the bear trap.
Right.
So you don't have any extra strength. Then the whole we always the lore of you can only die by a silver bullet. Nope.
No.
You can just die. You're telling me, like, I get that maybe he still had some aspect of humanity, right? Perhaps. But you're telling me...
Well, he was freshly turned, so I can give you that.
Sure. But you're telling me that even if you wanted to get out of there because you didn't want to hurt your wife and daughter, you couldn't overpower a 100-pound woman to get the fuck out of there. Like he didn't even have enough strength to overpower her. Like, take the gun away, rip the fucking gun away,
Dude,
and just say, I'm out.
The whole fucking thing, and then, the father shows up, right? And this
Yeah.
is one that's turned years ago.
Right.
And he still doesn't look like a fucking wolf.
No.
And I'm sitting there going, like, you tried to ground this too much in reality. Like,
Yeah.
Nosferatu worked because it was still a vampire at the end of the day. There was still a vampire.
Right.
You tried to make this a biological disease that sort of turns you into a wolf.
Yeah.
But really doesn't. It just
No.
makes you into a crazy person.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going, like, the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah, like the fucking person who ate those bath salts a few years
Right,
ago.
it was just that.
Was like that.
It was
That's
just
it.
that.
You temporarily lost your mind, and,
Right.
And you all of a sudden you can start biting things and
Right.
and,
I didn't
like,
think
that's it.
I didn't think the kid was endearing. I thought the kid was annoying.
Right.
Like, that was another thing, is like, usually you want to root for the kid, and I'm like, shut this fucking kid up. Like, there were a couple of scenes where, like, she played the trauma off well of, like, seeing the shit she was seeing. But then there was other shit where I was just like, come the fuck on. Like,
Yeah.
either the writing was just fucking
Oh, it was
garbage.
just awful. And like I said, I don't know enough about this girl. And maybe, and I hope.
Well, she's
that
she's going to be in an A24 coming up too.
So again, I'm not saying that it's gonna, that there's any chance of ruining the Fantastic Four just because of this movie. I'm just saying that I hope that this isn't the best she can do, because if
Right,
it is,
right.
then it is going to ruin the movie
Right.
because she was awful. Awful.
I don't know. That was probably the biggest swing and a miss from Blumhouse in a while, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again,
Like, people liked it. It did okay.
Yeah, it's
but
just
like,
I don't know why there's such a struggle with trying. Like,
well, I think where it bothers me is that it's supposed to be a remake of Universal's The Wolfman.
right, and that's what I'm saying. Why? Like, did you ever see the Invisible Man, the remake of
Yeah.
the Invisible Man?
Yeah.
Right, that was good.
Yep.
Right. I mean, again,
They brought it into modern times,
Right.
but it was good.
and so I don't know why they're struggling so mightily to make new Universal movies. Like, obviously, the Tom Cruise Mummy movie failed miserably.
Yep, they're trying that again, though.
Yeah, and it's like, again, we don't need it grounded in reality. That's not what this is all about.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what ends up happening is that, again, I think a lot of the people that are running these organizations are not creative people.
No.
They're very good at business. They're very good at snatching up IPs, so they're great at conservatorship, but they're not good at business, at creativity.
Yeah,
So what ends up happening is the Dark Knight and the Nolan Batman movies killed because they were grounded in reality, and they go, okay, that was popular.
Yeah.
And then you get like a Robert Eggers Nosferatu, grounded in reality, right? But again, done the right way, the vampire was still a vampire.
Right.
But they just say, okay, it's a little more down to earth than this fantastical journey. And so they just get it in their mind that everything has to have a root in reality. It's like, I don't need my fucking werewolf movie to have its fingers in reality.
right. It absolutely didn't need it.
Now, Eggers is coming out with a werewolf movie.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be great.
Right. And it'll probably have a lot of things rooted in reality, right? Again, it's going to be set in the 15th century, so you're going to have the peasantry and all that'll be reality, but he'll still have a fucking werewolf. It's
Right.
not going to be, the fucking whatever they called it, the wolf madness or whatever the fever or whatever they called it in the Wolfman.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, oh, you're getting a disease and your face changes a little bit where you have like, and it's not even really like a wolf-like look. I mean,
it was that movie really turned me off.
Yeah, it was just awful. So that was my unfortunate movie that I saw. I really didn't get to see much else. But what about you? What have you caught?
So I caught The Bondsman. Now this is on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
8 episodes. Kevin Bacon plays a bounty hunter
Okay.
who gets killed,
Oh.
sent to hell, brought back,
Okay,
and
I'm
has
liking the
and
sound
has
of
to hunt
this.
demons.
Wow. Okay.
It's got it straddles the line between Evil Dead in its campiness
Yeah.
and its humor, and then almost a serious sort of, we got to figure this shit out.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was very enjoyable.
Really?
Caught all 8 episodes.
Nice.
Hoping we get a season 2. Like, it's fun. I think it has
That
a lot
sounds
of
good.
a lot of potential.
Cool.
And Kevin Bacon's in top form. No
always,
surprise there.
always.
Right. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It knew what it wanted
Great.
to be.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like we got to take that. We got to be
wasn't up its own ass
Constantine,
and-
right?
yeah.
Like, he's not Constantine. He's not Ash. He's somewhere in the middle. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great. It was
Nice.
fun. Not a ton of money.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
definitely not a ton of money in it. Like,
Sure.
the CGI was minimal.
Yeah.
We didn't get a ton of like demons in their true form type of stuff. So it was just more like,
Yeah.
he's hunting the demon of the week, but you kind of, they'll show a picture of what the demon looks
Yeah.
like, and then
And
the
then they're in a
person will
human
just have
form.
the
Yeah.
glowy eyes or whatever,
Okay.
which is fine.
Sure.
I can deal with that. Like, you got the budget is what it is.
Right.
So if you can't afford to have these massive demons, no problem.
Right.
But it was fun.
Nice.
And that's what's important.
Right. Exactly. Well, if that catches on and it does well, then maybe there's more money into the budget, and maybe they can do it in a season 2.
But they did this. A lot of the gore was practical effects. They
Cool.
didn't shy away from the gore. They didn't shy away from the swearing. Like,
Nice.
it was. I really enjoyed it. Like
Nice.
that. It was one of those ones I saw a preview for.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, that might be okay. And then I was like, let me throw it on see if my partner likes it. And yeah, we binge watched it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So that was really good.
Nice.
I will say one more thing before we move on. So we have a Roku, right?
Yeah.
So we watch a lot of stuff on Roku. So we watch The Bondsman, and I was like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Ash versus Evil Dead?" She's like, "No," and I was like, "Okay, well let's put it on."
Yeah. Let me enlighten you on that one.
Well, again, if you like the Bond, I'm doing it. I'm being my own algorithm, right?
Sure.
Like if you like the Bondsman, you'll like this type of thing. And it was only available on the Roku channel, right?
Okay.
So that means commercials. So I got to figure out something with that. But so we're watching the commercials, right?
yeah.
And a commercial for like Hood cottage cheese or something comes up, right? And in the middle of the commercial, and this to me is fucking future ingenious shit. I can't believe like Comcast hasn't fucking done this with their cable shit. A button pops up that says buy it now. So you can buy shit from the commercial.
Wow.
And I was
That's
like, that is so
Yeah, that's innovative.
that is so
It's a great idea.
futuristic type of shit.
Yeah.
So Comcast, if you're listening,
Right,
there's
there you
there's
go.
a freebie for you.
Yeah.
But like, I was thinking like, obviously I'm not gonna, I don't give a fuck about cottage cheese.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself like, I can't believe they haven't implemented that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you could, you see something you like on a commercial and a button pops up and says buy it now.
That's
Holy
ingenious.
shit.
That's gonna change the way people
not that
shop.
that I watch a lot of like it's not going to affect me because I dodge commercials like the
Sure.
plague.
Yeah, but there are
for people that
plenty
still
that do,
watch
yeah.
traditional cable or even like watch shit on Roku and stuff that has commercials,
Right.
I'm sitting here going like every fucking company should be doing this.
Right.
Like, this is ingenious.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea.
Oh. So I wanted to bring that up
Yeah.
because I was just like, that is some innovative
That
ass
is.
shit. Like,
That's great.
well done, Roku.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what do you got for me?
All right. So I was thinking about this, and this for our listeners too. Think about this and definitely
Yeah, write it in the comments.
So think about this for a second. Think about something that you love
Yeah.
and something in that you love that you hate. And let me give you an example.
Okay.
We do the art, right?
Yes.
I watch a lot of YouTube videos of artists drawing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It gets me inspiration. It gets me inspired.
Yeah,
to,
and even
wanna do
with
more.
some of the better ones, maybe you glean a little
Yeah.
bit off of what their techniques are and
I
things.
hate when they draw Spider-Man. I hate watching Spider-Man art drawings.
What
I hate it.
about it do you hate?
It's because it's so it's like so easy, right? Everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like such a go-to
Yeah, well,
character.
there's not I mean, the hardest part is the webbing,
yeah,
right?
And it's like I love Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of technical.
Yeah, it's just, but I hate when any artist draws Spider-Man out of any character in comics. I hate watching artists draw Spider-Man.
Is that just because you don't get anything from it because it's such a simple?
It's that it's it couldn't be more boring watching webbing get drawn on an outfit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Those are the details too.
Yeah.
Like that's all you're getting is
Right.
just
And it's
there's no face.
Right.
Maybe you do an expression in the eyes if you want to,
Yeah, and
or,
it's like
or you
you've
don't.
seen a million poses of Spider-Man, in any wacky pose over the city. Like there's shooting webs.
You just think it's been so done to death at
It's
this
been
point.
so done to death. Like, you could say the same about Batman to a degree, but Batman still you can put him in other elements around him, and that freshens it up. But it's like Spider-Man is always just I'm Spider-Man in the city, and here's me shooting the web. And it's like I just cannot stand. And again, I'll watch a million videos of it because, again, I watch all the videos of artists drawing. I just hate watching the Spider-Man ones.
Yeah.
I
right,
don't know
yeah.
if you have anything
So I
similar
do,
to that.
So similar, a little different, but similar. So I really like when we come out with a product. I like putting it online.
Yep.
I like putting it on the socials and
Sure.
letting people. If I think it's good enough to share, I like getting it to people. What I hate is, in order for it to get the reach that it needs, I have to do a gimmick.
Right.
So, or even to a greater extent, we'll again, we're a small business, local artists. We make everything in shop. Like when the people that do buy our products like them. I can spend 100 hours on a piece.
Yep.
Right. And I'm not allowed to just put that piece online. Like, hey, this is a piece we just made. We think it's pretty cool. Check it out.
Right.
That will go nowhere.
Yep.
But someone taking a cut of a movie and putting an inspirational score and some subtitles on it will get 300,000 views.
Right.
So I hate that shit. I hate that there's there's no easy way to share the stuff that we're doing without having to sort of gimmickize it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that to me, and again, people that are successful in this business would probably tell me to go fuck myself. That's the nature of the beast.
Right.
And I get that, and I'll do it. But it's something I hate,
Right.
Like it's like people seem to like what we're doing. If you're into the sort of nerdcore, fantasy, comic booky shit, and they find it, they get excited at the shows and stuff. It's just having to add that layer of gimmickness to it, because we work hard on this shit, right? And it almost cheapens it to me. So I fucking hate.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. It's, you think about it and it's like, I'm just thinking about aspects of the thing you love, but there's parts of it that you just don't like, that you have to, but it's, as you just said, it's the necessity, right, of having to do it. Like, again, if someone approached me to do a Spider-Man comic, I would do it, of course. But that's, if I had my druthers of what I could choose, that would be, I wouldn't want to choose that, because I wouldn't want to just keep drawing Spider-Man. It would bore me to tears, and I get bored to tears watching other artists draw it. It's like I just can't get into
but I wonder
the fun of that.
I'd love to hear from like fellow artists and stuff. I mean, are there characters that the general population just loves that you hate drawing?
Yeah.
Like, who are they?
Right.
Is what I want to know.
Absolutely,
let us know in the comments on that, because, I mean, I don't hate drawing Spider-Man as much as you do, but I mean, again, given my choice, I would much rather do maybe a Batman, or I like doing like a Rorschach I enjoy. But even with Batman, I'd rather do like Batman Who Laughs or something, or,
Yeah, but the thing is, I love Spider-Man.
So do
Don't get
I.
me wrong.
So do I.
I love Spider-Man. I
Right,
love
you're
the
talking about
character. I love the comics.
From the creative side of things, though, again, because, what I think people that don't sort of work in this business understand is it's not just drawing one Spider-Man and then being like, okay, I got my Spider-Man, I get to walk away now. It's like you got to draw Spider-Man like 50,000 times. Right. And it's the same thing as being like a musician, right? Like everybody only wants to hear the hits.
Right.
So you're only playing the, one or two songs that are getting people going. And it's like, yeah, but I put all this work into the rest of it too.
Yep. Yeah, and
Like-
it just, again, it's still enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. When you watch anybody, who's a professional artist draw, no matter what it is, there's enjoyment behind it. You're certainly going to get inspired, and you're going to appreciate the end product. But, if you tell me who's the one, here's, Todd McFarlane, he'll draw you anything, I would be like, no, Spider-Man. Like,
Well, Spawn.
and then, no, but I'm just saying, like, even if he said, and if he said, hey, I'll only draw Spider-Man for you, I'd be like, yeah, you're Todd McFarlane, and I'm going to do it, but
Right.
but man, I would love any other character for you to draw, but Spider-Man.
It's just so far down the list of characters you'd want.
Right, exactly.
Right, I get it. No, that's pretty interesting. That's a good one.
So it's it's food for thought for anybody everybody that's listening. Definitely think about it and get back to us on what you hate on the thing that you love.
Right, because there's always something.
Right, exactly.
All right, I got one more topic for you.
Okay.
So, and we had started talking about this before the podcast, and I said let's save this for the podcast. I think we all, as a society, would do better to sort of realize, what level the algorithms play in our daily life. And again, we're bound to the algorithm. We create content. We have to play the algorithm game like every other content creator does. But I think as a consumer, this doesn't go so much for the content creators, because the consumers really dictate how the algorithms function. And I think what the problem is, I was giving you an example. So I got the Bluetooth in my car.
Right.
And I got the music hooked up. So when I get in the car, the music plays through my phone onto the speakers. And I have to be, if I don't like a song or I just think a song is just okay, I skip it, because I don't want the algorithm to think I want anything like that sort of stuff.
You're forced to now because of the algorithm will. You don't have a choice. It dictates what it thinks you want, whether that's true or not. Because again, if you just leave the song on, it thinks that you like all songs like this.
Right.
And you just might not be in a position to change the channel.
And that goes for media as well. So, like, a lot of times when, because we do our little movie reviews at the beginning of every episode, if something big is coming out, I want to listen to someone that hates it, but then I got to make sure I listen to someone that loves it too. Because if I just listen to someone that hates something, all I'm going to get going forward is that sort of opinion.
Right.
Whether it's woke or anti-woke or whatever they hate it for. If all I listen to is, reviewer X, all I'm going to get going forward are people that agree with reviewer X, instead of getting sort of a balanced set of reviews that I can come to a decision whether I want to see the piece or not.
Well, and the thing about it too is, the people that hate it, there is going to be things you agree with and things you don't, and vice versa on the people that love it. Yes, they sometimes hype it up way more than it needs to be, but there are going to be elements that you're going to agree with. Like, I like this as well, and I hate this as well. So you want to be, having a balanced opinion of it, to make sure that you're looking at it through kind of like a non-biased opinion of, all right, let me give there's elements I know I like and dislike, so I don't know necessarily for sure how I feel about it, but I'm going to give it an opportunity, and then I'll make my own conclusion, as opposed to having I only like this opinion, therefore I'm not going to give something a chance because all the people that I only listen to that slanted this way tell me it sucks, therefore it sucks, but I'm not going to give it my own personal viewing and opinion on it.
Right. And that's no hate to the creators, because again, they're also bound to the algorithm. So if hating on something is going to get them the views that they need to monetize their content, no problem. I
all
get
the power
it.
to you.
That's not on the creator.
Right.
That's on us as consumers to just be aware that the algorithm does play a much more prominent role, I think, in what we consume, especially online.
Right.
than maybe some of us realize. And that's just something I thought was kind of interesting and something to be cognizant of, because if you are aware of that, you can kind of push back, and ultimately that will make what you consume more diverse, and it'll also give strength to the algorithm instead of just pushing the same thing over and over again, so you get these very polarized viewpoints. You can actually have a diverse set of viewpoints. Well, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this, here's why. Than it just being like, nope, it's woke.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you may not like it, you may agree that it's not for you. Again, most everybody takes Snow White, right? It's going to go down as one of the biggest
pretty universally
bombs.
hated.
Right. Going to be one of the biggest bombs in Hollywood history. So again, universally hated, very little that you can like, right? But Thunderbolts is coming out, and I'm hearing very differing opinions. Some people are touting the 95% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and then you got the other side saying this looks like another woke piece of shit. Just like Phase 5, it's going to be a massive flop, and that's the way it's trending. And it's like, okay, it's probably not as bad as you're saying, and it's not as good as you're saying. It's probably somewhere in the middle, but it might be enjoyable. But how do you know if you're not going to give it any opportunity?
Right, and I think I think that game we talked about last episode, South of Midnight, is kind of a victim of that. Is it the greatest game to ever come out? No. But is it a woke piece of shit? No.
Right.
It's woke, but it's not a piece of shit. Again, those are two separate things. Like you can have woke ideologies in a piece of media and not have it be garbage. And I think South of Midnight does a great job with that. You have a diverse cast, it's Southern folklore, it's a fun enough game from a small studio, but it was getting lambasted by sort of these anti-woke warriors, so to speak, as just another woke piece of garbage. And it's like, yeah, but it's not.
Right.
And I think the problem is that, again, whether they played the game or whether they actually have they actually believe in the opinion that they're spouting is neither here nor there. They're just trying to get their views, and that's the content that drives their machine.
Right.
But I think as consumers need to be aware of how that works. Not intimately. You don't have to understand every in and out of the algorithm, but just understand that they're a business like any other business, and if their business is just pushing that everything with a female character or whatever is garbage, and they're getting the views and monetizing that content, then regardless of whether the game is good or not, they need to stick with what works for them.
Right.
But it's on you as a consumer to realize that, hey, I watched this guy because I like a lot of his reviews, but again, South of Midnight, great game. Thunderbolts, I'm hearing really good things. I'm hearing really bad things. It's probably one of the better Marvel movies we've had in a while.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the savior of all Marvel, but
no.
Again, it's that sort of thing.
Right, but that's some of the chatter is that, right? And it's like,
right, but that's just the other side of the spectrum.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like if all you ever hear is
how good everything is,
and then everything, like, again, if all you ever listen to are the people that talk about that everything that Marvel does is brilliant, like every movie that comes out is being touted as Marvel's back on track, this is the best Marvel movie to come out since whatever, and then when the movie flops, like, well, wait a minute. So again, you can't just listen to that one side that tells you everything Marvel does is the best ever, and then the reality of it is it's not. It may be more to that other side as to what they're saying, as to reasonings behind it, but there again, it's probably closer to something in the middle, like. you know, there's got to be something good in everything.
I think, and again, I think we're all sort of learning how to function in this world that's controlled by algorithms now, right? And AI and all that sort of stuff. But I honestly think that before all of this became so prevalent, you would watch or read, because that's really more what it was about back then. You'd read a review from one guy, and then you'd read a review from another guy and go, okay, it's probably somewhere in the middle, and then go see it and then make your decision. But now, because there is so much content out there, and a lot of people will just not see something based on a review they read, which I get it. Like, again, there's so much content. We're all very busy. You know, my time is valuable. For you to win my time, you better be putting out something good.
Yeah.
And I think the problem becomes when the algorithm is just pushing, okay, you like this reviewer, you're going to like these reviewers, and then they're all spouting the same bullshit on whatever side you're on, whether they think it's good or bad or whatever. You're not getting that other side, so there is no middle anymore. And I think, you know, again, a game like South of Midnight, great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Woke in a non-negative sense of the word, but still getting fucking lambasted by anti-woke, you know, pundits.
You know what I do? And I do this regularly. I go on demand, right?
Yeah.
And I go through I flip through the movies.
Yeah.
And I look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, right? But I look at movies that I love, right? And I look at it, and some of those movies have very bad scores.
Right.
Right? And I think to myself, if I didn't watch that movie and give it my chance, and I just went by this review, I would never have watched one of my favorite movies for the past like 40 years.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
So it's like you cannot go by, you know, just reviews alone on whatever side, because again, there's personal taste to it, and you may only listen to the anti-woke crowd, but then a movie that might be quote-unquote woke comes out, and that might be one of your all-time favorite movies, but you never gave it the opportunity because
all you've heard was negative about it.
And you just trust the algorithm to, this is what I agree with these people, therefore the algorithm is telling me that I listen to these people. And I side with these people. So your reality
becomes, and again, I'm not arguing against the algorithm. Like the machines have won.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I'm not trying to say rise up, people. I'm just saying that if you're sitting there listening and saying to yourself, nothing that comes out of Hollywood is good anymore, you're wrong.
Right.
Because there's plenty of good shit that's coming out. It's just that because the way the algorithm functions is, if the reviewer you listens to shits on movies, they have to shit on movies, because that's the only way the algorithm is going to push out their content.
Right.
And they need to feed their family. They have to monetize their content. So they have no incentive to change their opinion.
Yeah.
Because what sells is, you know, that rhetoric. And that, again, that goes on the other side, too. If all you listen to is, you know, oh, everything Marvel puts out is God tier and they've never had a misstep, and, you know, you're sitting there seeing these movies and going like, I don't really like the last couple Marvel movies. You have to find a balance, and the algorithm's not going to do that for you. I mean, if you work at it, if you work at your algorithm, it will. But just understand that, you know, if you're just passive when it comes to the algorithm, you're just going to be fed the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
And I think a lot of these businesses use algorithms to make decisions.
Right.
And I think that's why we keep getting the same shit over and over and over again, is because instead of them working at their algorithms, they just passively say, okay, the algorithm says this, we're going to do this.
Right, and that exactly is what happens. You've got people that are tracking the algorithms. Those people then report those findings, and instead of paying attention with your eyes, you're just going with the algorithm saying. And so again, you make another movie and it flops financially, and then you're like, well, that doesn't compute because the algorithm says that this was extremely popular. And it's like, well, yeah, but unfortunately your algorithm is skewed to one way, and because you're misreading that algorithm as opposed to actually listening to the fan base who might be telling you something differently, you're still inclined to make movies that are not what the consumer wants, or whatever. It could be music, it could be anything. Whatever medium that you're in, you're not making it to the overall audience. You're now making it to a very small audience, and when that's not financially successful, you're not understanding why, because you believe the algorithm told you that was not going to happen. And it's like, how could the algorithm be wrong? Well, it's wrong because it's skewed one way. And as opposed to trying to make sure you take both sides.
A lot of it is just where the technology is in its current state. And again, with these deep learning machines, what I do personally is, so I scroll through TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. And after 6 or 8 months, if I'm not happy with the content I'm seeing, I clear the whole cache out. I wipe my algorithm clean. And then I start again because I'm like, you know what? This isn't really the shit I want to see every day.
Right.
But you have to have that sort of thought to yourself of, instead of just being spoon-fed media, you got to go, hey, do I really like this stuff, or am I just going along with the crowd?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you have to really judge things for yourself. Entertainment, because again, there's a lot of movies, like I said earlier, that don't show well on Rotten Tomatoes,
audience or critic,
right? That are absolute great movies, cult classics, but if you don't give it that opportunity, then you're missing out, and you're missing out. Why? Because a machine tells you that it's not good because you're too heavy leaning into that direction. Okay, yeah, like I said, right now, if the machine is telling you Marvel movies aren't good, that's true, because we have the evidence to support that. But you can't just say, I'm never going to watch a Marvel movie again because none of them will ever be good again, because that's untrue.
And the other half of this is, it's not the evil machines.
Right.
The machine is designed to put content in front of you. Like that, at its base, at its core function, it's designed to put the content in front of you. And then when the complexity comes, okay, well, I have to put content that this person likes. But I think a lot of us just passively let the machine do its job without oiling it. Mm-hmm. And you have to do maintenance on your algorithms.
Right.
It's the same thing with Netflix. Like if you watch Netflix and then you decide to take a chance on something, that throws the algorithm all out of whack.
Sure.
That's why I think the way the streaming services do the password sharing thing is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are making the money. You don't have to nickel and dime everybody. But that being said, I'd much prefer to have my own private Netflix account, because if I have a family member using my Netflix, using my profile, and they're watching what they want, then I'm not going to get the suggestions that I want.
Right.
The algorithm is building it for a person that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that I wish more people would be aware of.
Yeah.
Because I think if we as a society were more aware of the influence the algorithms have on our day to day, not that we can stop it or beat it. I'm not advocating for that, but we could teach the machines to be smarter and actually say, hey, this is what you would like about this movie, this is what you know, here are the pros, here are the cons type of thing, instead of just, you know, here's all the negatives, or this is the, you know, their shit doesn't stink type of stuff.
But, you know, even that, it's like, you know, even if it says, oh, well, you liked this movie, so here's a bunch of others like that. Well, that doesn't necessarily hold true. Like, it may be, you know, there might be a similarity, but, you know, all those movies could suck that it says, oh, you like this movie because it's of this certain genre, or it's got a certain word in it that matches up. Like if you say, oh, it's a vampire movie, let's say, you know, we watched Nosferatu, and therefore here's
You'll
all
love
the
Twilight.
Right,
exactly.
It's like, yeah, you like no, Twilight is awful.
What you like, if you really wanted to build your algorithms the right way. Right, the proper thing to do would be, you know, clear your cache on Netflix, which you can do. You got to go online to do it, but you can do it.
Yep.
And then pick movies that you already have watched. You know, and say, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this, I like this. So it at least can get a baseline. Because if you just start watching what Netflix puts in front of you, it's not going to have a personalized baseline for you. It's just going to, you know, you're just like, oh, I saw this on the TV, I'm going to give this a watch. And it's going to go, okay, well, you watch this, so you must like this. Not knowing that, like, you liked all these other movies before. It's just basing it on the information it has available.
Right.
So the right way to do it would be to kind of go through the library of films you've already seen and give it the thumbs up. Because people hate fucking giving the thumbs up. Like, we do social media. It's very hard to get people to subscribe. It's very hard to get people to thumbs up and like and stuff.
Yep.
And that's what the algorithm cares about. And it's not like it costs us anything to do that shit. But people are very against that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, just remember, and this is, you know, for anybody that's out there, right? I mean, if you go by an artist or whatever, musician, whatever it might be, if you pass by and something catches your eye, what's the harm in giving it that thumbs up, right? I mean, show a little bit of that, hey, I know this is tough. It's not easy to create a piece of art or a piece of music, whatever it might be. I stopped at it, I saw it, I heard it, whatever it might be. It caught my attention. Nice job. It goes a long way. It goes a long way to help the algorithm, and it helps the artist. In you know what I mean. It helps their social profile. And I try to do that. You know, I try to do that as much as possible.
As do I.
Right.
I mean, again, if I'm finding that I like. I'm a little tighter with my subscribe, obviously. Sure. But if I find something, if I scroll across something and I think it's good, I'll take the effort to put the like.
Yeah. I mean, because again, everybody's out there just trying to make a living or have a social presence, whatever the case might be. And, you know, again, it's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and you know, if anybody does it, you'll understand what we're talking about. If you're making, you know, artwork, let's say, or a product, whatever it might be, and you put all that time and effort into it, and then there's also, you know, having to put it on social media, and there is an effort to do that as well. And you know, you gotta come up a lot of times, like you were talking about, with gimmicks and all that type of stuff, and just to get it out there, and in the hopes that people stumble across it and appreciate what it is you did, and just to show, you know, some appreciation for the hard work that was put into it. Again, I'm not saying everybody, but most definitely, if something catches your attention and you like and you see it and you actually like it, then hit that thumbs up and show that you really like it, as opposed to just, yep, I looked at it, cool, I liked it, cool, and then move on. It's like, what, you know, it doesn't cost you anything to do that, but it goes such a long way, more than you may realize.
All right. Well, with that, let's put this one to bed.
Yes.
I think that's a good place to end it. Jim, as always.
Yes.
What do you got going on?
I'm just getting the artwork out every week. Just check out the social media. You'll see a new piece of artwork every week, and just making sure that happens. Nothing new to report on any new projects, but hopefully something will come soon.
All right, guys, so that's episode 111 of The Corner. You know where we're at. CatalystCrafting.com is the main website. Catalyst Creations NH is the Etsy store. We're at the Manchester Craft Market in the Mall of New Hampshire. We're also about to start a Go Imagine page, so if you want to check that out. But, I mean, have you guys seen The Wolfman? Did you think it was a masterclass in horror, or do you think it was a dumpster fire? Have you seen The Bondsman? Do you think I'm crazy, or does it have that sort of Evil Dead kind of vibe to it? What are the things you hate inside of the things that you love? Let us know in the comments about that. And do you have any tips on how to manipulate your algorithm? If you do, put those tips in the comments. We'd love to hear them. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.